Hey, this is Stacia, and it's time for another training game video. So I've gotten back into playing these, and I think it is helping my chess. Trying to do like at least one a day. So this one I was happy because I got a 1900 rated opponent, and I had the white pieces. So let's see what happens. So e4, he played knight to f6, and I was like, oh boy. Yeah, one problem I have playing higher rated opponents is that they often play openings that I'm not as familiar with or that are a little weird or something. And this is Alekhine's defense. So I don't have tons of experience with this, but I have a little bit. What I do know about this is that I really want to play the 4 pawns attack variation, but I haven't really studied it and I don't even know what it is at this point. Like, I know that you go like d4, f4, c4, and probably have to go e5 right now, and you get that kind of pawn structure, which I would enjoy, I think. But you know, when you're playing a 15-minute game, it's not really a good time to figure it out. So I just went e5. I believe this is the main move, and it makes sense to me. Let's attack the knight. The knight comes to d5, and we play d4. So let's see. Maybe this is where we're supposed to play f4. It is possible. Yeah, probably is okay, because if e6, we could play knight f3. We don't have to worry about any crazy checks yet. So, all right, I'll check the opening book. No, it does not want f4 here. So what am I missing? Oh, it's white's turn, or it's black's turn, sorry. So they actually could go d6. This is what my opponent did. They went d6. Okay, since the queen's not open, I feel like f4 is maybe more of an option. So I'm curious though, if e6, f4 here, I'd be a little nervous about a check, but does it do anything at all? You know what? I don't think it does. g3, I think, covers it. Yeah, g3 covers it, and I'm going to assume this is probably not all that great for black, because we haven't even castled. So, you know, this is the point where I would be like, okay, I'm going to go queenside, you know, because like this is going to be pretty fast over here. So if I turn on the engine for a second, yeah, it likes white. It likes white, and it says black should just go back now. Okay, engine back off. Okay, but I think it's good to consider lines like that at least. Now, in the game, my opponent went d6. And so my understanding of Alekhine's defense, which is probably not that great of one, is that they let you put this pawn on e5, and then they try to like break down your center. So it's a very hyper modern type of approach. And so what generally happens in openings like this is white takes a lot of space, you know, maybe f4, maybe c4, and then black will try to break it down with like g6, bishop g7, d6, maybe c5, maybe knight c6, and just attack the center and then break down the center. If black succeeds at that, they'll be equal or better even. And if they're not, they might get squished. And if you're taking notes, you don't want to get squished. Okay, anyway, knight to f3 is what I played here, and he did go g6. And now, yeah, I analyzed this briefly after the game. I don't like my next move. So I was thinking I would really like to go c4 here. Now, if I go c4 attacking the knight. Wait, is that what I wanted to do? No, I wanted to go bishop c4. That's what I wanted to do. So if bishop c4, knight b6, bishop b3. What I didn't like about this is bishop g4. And then like after I played the move, I was like, well, wait a minute. Because I'm pretty sure I have a tactic here. Like bishop takes f7. Yeah, I think, you know, they can't do that move. They can't play bishop g4. So, of course, I mean, I saw it like that far in, but I didn't see it here when I played h3. So I guess what I had to see was that after this, then I could play bishop f7, king takes, knight g5. And that's going to win the bishop. Or win a pawn, whatever. But also castling rights. I think white's a lot better there, to be honest. All right, but I played h3. I mean, it doesn't lose or anything, but I just feel like it was an unnecessary move. Like, we want them to play bishop g4, you know, and fall for that stuff. I should have went bishop c4. But anyway, I did do this, and they went bishop g7. And now I proceeded with bishop c4, knight b6, bishop b3. Okay. Now black castled. I feel like I taught one of my students the other day. I said, avoid the hassle, always castle. I actually stole that from Michael Jolson, though. All right, and here I thought, you know, I should probably just castle. I don't think I'm going to go queenside. So, yeah, in fact, it's not easy to push the f-pawn. I've got a knight in the way. So I did just castle here. And my opponent played a5. Now, the thing about this Alekhine's defense, and this is why I think maybe stronger players like to play this. There's like always like this kind of like tension going on, and you have to calculate like every single turn. You have to calculate what happens if this, what happens if this, you know, and what happens if this, and queen takes, and all kinds of stuff, right? So that's actually why I castled, because I was thinking if takes, you know, why allow the queen to take like this? And I would have to play king takes. I don't like that. So I castled so that in the event of takes, I could take with a rook. And that seems a little better to me. And I would probably think white's a little bit better here as the engine. Nope, it kind of says, okay, it says tiny bit better is what it says. Okay, but anyway, after castles, my opponent went a5, which was not expected, to be honest. But when you have a bishop on b3, you know, it is subject to rook pawn pushes. And so they do have a threat of a4. And I mean, the natural response here is usually, you know, a4. And I could also think about a3, so I thought about that too. And I did go with a4, which I see now, oops, sorry. I see now is the top engine move. So I'm glad for that. I was calculating some lines here though, because here's the thing about a4. When you play a4, you're sometimes giving up the b4 square forever. But I reasoned that I could always go c3 still. I haven't committed my c pawn as of yet. So if knight c6 trying to get in, I always have the c3 option to maybe get the knight out. Okay, he did go knight c6. And I think in an opening like this, when you have so much tension in the center, when that knight comes to c6, you better stop and think about what it's doing. Because it's actually, double attacking the center in a way. So we got to check on our pawns here. My e5 pawn is defended just twice, but attacked 3 times. So I don't like that. My d4 pawn, on the other hand, is defended twice, but only attacked by the knight on c6. So d4 is fine, but this pawn though. And then there's always this, and, that kind of stuff too. So I actually thought I should defend my e5 pawn since it's not defended enough. Now, let's talk about this capture for a second, because we could consider that too. I feel like that is, that's what you play if you can't save your pawn any other way. That's how I feel about that move, because our e5 pawn, our pawn is good on e5. I'd like to keep it on e5. Like, I want them to take and keep a pawn on e5. It keeps the knights out of f6, and it's annoying. It's an annoying pawn. So if we do something like this, I think it gives up our advantage. That's what I was thinking during the game. Yeah, and the computer still likes white, but it liked white a lot more. Oh no, did not mean to do that. Oh no. Okay, hang on a sec. What did I do? I hope that wasn't the end of the game. Okay. So anyway, knight c6, and I decided to go bishop to f4. Now, this is the first moment, well, I guess second moment, where I really learned something. The first one is I played h3 unnecessarily, and I need to calculate better. The second one is this. The engine showed me the move queen e2, which I like here a lot, right? Like, queen e2 I really like. I play this in the Smith-Morra Gambit all the time, but it didn't occur to me here that the queen could protect the pawn and prepare rook d1. I think that plan I really like. So, yeah, the queen is not going to get hit by any knights there. We're even protecting, some stuff over here a little better. I just like that move a lot. So, queen e2 for the win. But I played this one. I don't think it's bad, but maybe it is. Wow, actually, computer doesn't like it at all. Okay, and yeah, you know why? Here's why I like queen e2. Because here, black still has this option. And I thought, if I try to take with a knight, I was getting in trouble. Let's see if we understand why. If knight takes, Oh, here's why. Yeah, I remember now. Because when they take here, now my knight's not on d4. So I actually think, black could take, instead of taking the knight, they could take the pawn. Now the pawn's not defending this knight anymore either. And suddenly, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. This is what I was talking about. Like, if black destroys the center like this, then generally black's going to be okay or even much better. And here the computer likes black, so there you go. But I didn't think, so I have to take with a pawn. But if I take with a pawn, we are allowing this queen trade. And the thing about this is we have more space, just mainly due to the e5 pawn. But that space doesn't mean as much when pieces start getting traded off, and especially when queens are traded off. So, I would just think this is kind of equal, and that's what the computer's saying. So therefore, queen e2 is much better. It avoids the queen trade as well. Okay, but I played this, and my opponent actually didn't take. I think they should have. Instead, they went bishop to f5, which I just thought was kind of a weird move. I kind of understand why they played it, because I misplaced my bishop over here, and if I ever want to get rid of this bishop, I might have to do something like this, which seems really slow. Then my knight's blocked, etc. So it seems like the knight is maybe well placed there, or the bishop rather. But here I've came up with an interesting idea. I was like, what would happen if I went knight h4? But I did decide that I wanted to go knight to c3 first, or just simply develop this knight. Now the question is, though, where should this knight go? Should he go here? Like, do I want to go c3 and solidify my center that way and put the knight here? Or do I want to just go knight c3 because, I'm eyeing some good stuff here. So I actually did decide on knight c3, and I'm happy to see it's the top engine choice. Yeah, I just had to kind of calculate and make sure that my d pawn is fine, but I didn't see a way for it to get under heavy attack. So I like knight c3. Okay, and here my opponent played h6. So I think their idea is they want to play g5 and get my bishop to move back. Then they would probably take here or something. So I think that's what this move is. But here, I really wanted to play knight h4. And I was looking at it, and I'm like, well, I'll get forked. If I play knight h4, I get forked. And I was like, well, you know what? Maybe it doesn't matter. maybe I can just get forked. Who cares? Like knight h4, g5, knight takes f5, and pawn takes f4. Like, what's happening there? Then I could play knight takes g7, taking black's dark square bishop. And I don't know what would happen from there, but I thought that kind of seemed okay. So, okay, let's try to calculate what happens after that in that line. So knight h4, g5, knight takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, knight takes g7. I would think queen takes g7 is the way to go. Has to be. And then I'm not sure from there. But I think I like my position. The king side's all wrecked and stuff. I'm actually wondering if I have like queen h5 or something. Like, yeah, like maybe queen h5 and knight e4 are plans. You know what I mean? So I really wanted to play that move. Now the engine gives different moves. It doesn't even list my move in the top 4, or wait, top 3 rather. But it does think white's good here. Oh, only if black doesn't play d takes e5. That's interesting. Why is d takes e5 a big deal? D takes e5. Let's follow this for a second. D takes e5. Wait a minute. I moved the knight off the pawn. I kind of forgot about that. That's not good. So if knight h4, d takes e5. I would probably take the bishop still. I probably would go here. Then it says e takes f4. Really? And then this, I would play this here. I would play this. and then it says e6. And it's equal now. Yeah, I don't think I would know that this is equal. I kind of like white because white has a little more space. White has 2 bishops. White has the d file, at least for the moment. I guess we can't keep the d file though. There's too much stuff here they're going to challenge. And this pawn structure is actually good. Yeah, it'd be hard for me to see all that. Probably was for my opponent too. Okay, so knight h4. We'll go back and look at a better move later. But I like knight h4. Actually, okay, never mind. I want to look at it now. The computer gives the move e6. I consider this move so many times. I thought they would take with the bishop. Okay, this is what I thought. Oh. I didn't see that. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that just one's material. So we sacrifice our pawn, but we have a trick in mind. And this doesn't do any good because it's still sufficiently defended. So we could probably just take, and yeah, we just win a piece. Wow. So they can't take with the bishop. If they can't take with the bishop, then I would think they should take with the f pawn. And then what? What do we do now? Well, this bishop looks kind of trapped a little bit. I can tell you that much. Really tempted to go g4. Yeah, g4 traps the bishop, right? Does it not? Computer doesn't want to play it, which is weird to me. Oh, I think I know why. Because actually our bishop is hanging behind it. So if we go g4, trapping the bishop, they can just take. And then when we take back, they take our bishop. And now black just won a pawn. Good pawn. So we're not ready to play g4. So that's why the computer wants bishop e3 or bishop h2 or rook e1. I don't understand, but this I understand because now we are threatening g4. We're going to play g4 next. And that would force black to make a further concession with something like g5. And then we go g4 anyway. And then they go here. Okay, interesting. But now the computer says this is just equal. Or actually slightly better for white if white plays h4. Okay, so actually after e6, f takes e6. Yeah, I don't know. The engine's weird. Like, it says +1, and then after this move, which it says is +1, or this one rather, now it changed and it says it's equal. So, horizon effect. Okay. Well, let's get back to the game then. I do like learning new ideas though, and I think those were cool. E6 is an interesting move. Interesting. The other one it likes is g4, but I guess we'll save that for another time. I went knight h4. I thought this was pretty interesting, right? I didn't even consider this, which I really should because it attacks a bishop. Yeah, I only really considered this, or I thought maybe they'll move their bishop away. But if they move their bishop away, my idea was to take on g6 because look, that's a pin. So g6 is actually hanging. So that was kind of my main idea. So, you know, sadly, interesting games sometimes end quickly. He didn't see that, and he just moved his bishop, and I was like, okay. So I took. And I was really curious what he would do here. I thought for sure he would go rook e8. I don't see what else to do here. Computer doesn't even, oh, computer's giving it. I thought he would go here, which tells you that he didn't, which is weird. And okay, well, I've got to save my knight, I think. So I would probably just go knight h4. And then I thought, it's still a game, I thought, but maybe it isn't. Because I am going to play queen h5. Yeah. That's going to attack that, and then the knight's going to maybe come in. Yeah, this does look really scary, and this remains pinned. So, like, there might even be queen g6. And, yeah, so maybe this is bad after all. So it actually says black should go e6, which looks terrible, blocking in the bishop. But it does attack the knight. So I would go queen h5 here. And then it says d takes c5. Trying to open up the position before I checkmate them. I would definitely play this move without thinking. And now the engine wants to take it. Okay, fine. I will take. And then the engine wants queen takes d4. Okay. I see. E6 broke the pin. That was the idea there. Because I would love to play queen g6 here or knight g6. But we don't have that square. So now it wants knight f5. Wow. Yeah. Knight f5 threatens the queen and checkmate. So they should probably take. But if they take, now we do have queen g6. Now the pin is back in business. So king h8. I would definitely take. Is this wrong? It's fine. But queen h4. Okay, I would take that rook. I mean, that's material. So let's say they save their rook. How are they going to do that? This move? But this is just mate, isn't it? Yeah, it is mate. So they can't do that. So that's why the computer wants to play that and give up the rook. So that's it. Okay, cool. Well, I thought that was very interesting. But in the actual game, after knight h4, I feel like that's just a blunder, right? Like, I would not expect a 1900 to just blunder like that, but he did. And then I took, and then he didn't move his rook. He just blocked the pin. So I just took the rook. And then he resigned. So, I mean, that doesn't feel like I played a 1900. It feels like I played a 1500, but that's just me. Or a 1400 even. But maybe they just had a bad game. So I'll cut them a break. So overall, I'm very happy with this. It was a win in 14 moves. So let's just run the computer analysis quickly and see, what did I do wrong here? What could I improve on? So I was never really worse, except for right here. So, oh yeah, I think he has to take and trade queens. I think that's the idea. So we'll check with the engine. Yeah, right here, black had the chance to take like this. And king takes d1. Yeah, this does look equal. I even kind of like black because this is just awkward for me. And we both have two bishops. And I don't know, maybe this pawn's overextended a little. We don't know. Maybe it is. With queens off, you know, it's much more likely to be. So there was that. I'll check elsewhere in the game. What does this look like for you guys? Oh, you can see it. Cool. All right. Also, well, it says 2 inaccuracies, 1 mistake. So let's look at the mistake. doesn't have the button like retry your mistakes or whatever. That's what I want to see. Okay, mistake. Oh, this. Yeah, you know what? This is where I really like that Queen E2 move. So, yep, I'm looking with the engine. It actually likes this better than Bishop F4. I think because Bishop F4 allows this. And I didn't see, before I played Bishop F4, I didn't see that I can't take back with the knight, because I did want to take with the knight. But if I do this, they go here. And now I don't have a center anymore. And I don't like this. This is not good. They just took a center pawn. We don't want to allow that. So Bishop F4 is a mistake because of that. So instead, Queen E2. I think that's my big lesson from this game. Maybe the only other lesson is that when I played Knight H4, which it only calls an inaccuracy. Yeah, I didn't calculate what happens on this move. And that's a big deal. That could have been much worse than I thought. In fact, it says I should play D takes E5. And then black can go E6. Wow. Okay, I would take though. And then after this, G takes. Yeah, it's a little better for white still, but I didn't see this. I think had I seen this, I would have been like, I still would have played it because, I mean, this position looks fine. It just looks like a game to me. I mean, you know, and I kind of like that the H pawn's isolated and this bishop is kind of blocked. You know, I would still play this. I have 2 bishops. I would definitely play this. So I still would have went Knight H4, but that's just me. I guess there were better options like that E6 move and G4, both of which I don't fully understand. So I think I will analyze those more. But I've dragged you guys through the mud of my rabbit holes enough. So with that, I will just say thank you for joining me, and I'll be back. Oh, one thing I wanted to share. I reached an all-time new high rating this game. I'm at 1762. So this is actually the closest that I've been to my climb to 1800. So let's just hope that I don't have a total breakdown and fall back under 1600 because I can. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back on more chess. Okay, bye.